All right, hey, what's up, everybody? Mike Lindsley back with you. I'm here at Rosie's Corner for 9 minutes with Mike Lindsley yet again on a Friday. IGTV, Facebook, and YouTube. And you could, of course, hit me on Twitter at Mike L Sports. If you're in and around Central New York, you got to get down here to Rosie's because today is the big day. It's Fish Friday. You can pair it with your mac and cheese or your coleslaw and French fries. And, of course, get it in sandwich form or dinner form on that haddock. This is a tremendous place to be every single day of the week with your pizza, with your wings, with your pasta, with your hot and cold subs. You can take desserts. They have great sides and salads in the cooler, plus your soft drinks. Rosie's Corner is the official pizza shop of the ML Sports Platter. Themed food days during the week. We'll get back to it next week with Meatloaf Monday, Turkey Slap Tuesday, Chicken and Biscuit Wednesday, and then you can get your fish on both Thursday and Friday. This place is spectacular. Jason Jody doing an unbelievable job. Get on down here for your weekend pizza and wings for the games, and also Fish Friday today and other themed food days as well. On Grubhub, on Facebook, on Instagram. Get them all over the place. All right, here we go. You can see I'm wearing my nice little third logo, whatever the heck this thing is, Buffalo Sabres hat today. I'm pumped up for these two games in Sweden, but what I'm really looking forward to most is not just being a Sabres fan, but watching how this team reacts to really, I think, the first bit of adversity of the season. You talk about the unbelievable head start. You talk about Jack Eichel playing great. You talk about Ralph Kruger, the new voice, the new head coach. They're rolling on most of the lines. They're deep at defense. Reinhardt's all over the place. They're scoring all over the place on the power play. Olofsson's been great. Johansson's been great. The goaltending's been stellar between Linus Ullmark and, of course, Carter Hutton. The reality of the situation, though, is that the Sabres have not played in a while, and the last time they did, they played horribly at home against the New York Islanders. They got shut out 1-0, and they got absolutely pounded in Washington on Friday night of that same weekend when the Washington Nationals were parading around the ice and showing off the World Series trophy and certainly chugging a bunch of beers. So we'll have to see what happens with this Sabres team. This, to me, is the first bit of adversity for the team based on not just losing, but also not playing and having to go to Sweden. This is a big deal here. I mean, the Sabres are now on a different clock. They're playing in Sweden. It's a totally a different deal. Let's also add one more wrinkle into it. They're playing the Tampa Bay Lightning twice. So this is going to be a very, very big challenge for the Buffalo Sabres. I think if you're a Sabre fan right now, you got to look at this thing with the big picture. You got to look at it as, hey, you hope to go there. 4 points are available. Win one and maybe get into overtime one other time. Maybe you can steal 3 points out of this trip. I'm not really sure. I would take just one win. I mean, I would take a 1-1 deal going over to Stockholm at this particular time. There are so many demands when you go over there. The Sabres obviously have a lot of Swedish players. Ralph Kruger knows the Swedish landscape of hockey very, very well. Guys are answering a lot of questions. There's a lot of media opportunities for people to get quotes. It's a time for the game to go global. It's an unbelievable opportunity to showcase the Lightning and Sabres right now, two of the best teams in the NHL. I don't think that'll be the case at the end of the year. The Lightning certainly, I think, will be there in the end. But again, they're going to have problems in the playoffs again, most likely, even though I picked them to go to the Stanley Cup final, but lose to the Vegas Golden Knights. This is a very unique, interesting deal here for Buffalo. Rasmus Dahlin, of course, the Swedish defenseman who's only about, 20 years old. Here's a guy who was already overwhelmed by the spectacle, and I don't think that being overwhelmed in a bad way is what I meant to say. I think being overwhelmed in a good way. He met his hero, Nicholas Lidstrom. Those two guys had an opportunity to share some hockey thoughts, to share some moments and whatnot. I still have to finish the article by Mike Harrington of the Buffalo News, but what a moment for Rasmus Dahlin, and not only go over back home and play in a game against the Tampa Bay Lightning twice, but he gets to meet Nicholas Lidstrom. That is an unbelievable moment. The elite Hall of Fame defenseman of the Detroit Red Wings, Rasmus Dahlin, up close there. I think this event's really cool. I really do. I mean, I think going over to Sweden is terrific. But again, the main takeaway for me is obviously the Buffalo Sabres facing that first bit of adversity of the season. I would expect that the Sabres will share the goaltending duties because this is a quick turnaround. They play at 2 o'clock today in Sweden, which I believe is 8 o'clock over there, but it's 2 Eastern here. Don't worry, I'll have my eyes glued to the television while I'm working and doing some podcasts. And then they turn right around tomorrow and they play a day game again, at least on the East Coast at 1 o'clock. It's basically a back-to-backer, which I know these NHL teams do all the time, but it's much different when you do it across the ponds or internationally, basically anywhere. And I don't care where that is. I don't care if it's in Sweden. I don't care if it's in the Czech Republic. I don't care if it's in Russia. I don't care where the hell it is. When you play back-to-back games like that, you haven't played for a while. You're also trying to get the travel schedule. You're also trying to, solve the jet lag issues. That's a big deal. And of course, there is no sport out there that needs the legs underneath you like hockey. So this is a huge conditioning challenge. It's a huge time zone challenge. It's a huge adversity challenge, more so for the Sabres, because they're not playing well going into this, having lost to the Islanders and Capitals respectively in the same weekend. They got crushed by Washington, lost a nail-biter shutout 1-0 at home to the Islanders, couldn't put the puck in the net, which this year has not been a problem for the Buffalo Sabres. And then you have all this time off. So we'll have to see how all of that mixes into the bowl here and how the Sabres can react in the country of Sweden. But this is a terrific opportunity for a lot of the Swedes on both sides to really get acclimated, to get back home, to meet some of the greats of all time. This is a spectacle for Sweden. There's going to be a lot of unbelievable elite Swedish players of years gone by. I just mentioned Nicholas Lidstrom. There's going to be a bunch of others there who will be watching these games with a huge intent on how to spread the game even greater globally. There is also one other thing to mention here. Tampa Bay, pretty darn good team, right? Tampa Bay is a club that has so much depth when you go up and down the lineup. Victor Hedman is a guy to watch. He's been injured for the majority of this year. We'll have to see if he plays. Last I read, he was a game-time decision for today. I would expect he plays in at least one of these games with minimal ice time. I just don't think that they're going to rush him out there in a situation like this with all the pressure, being back home, getting back from the injury. I don't think they're going to rush him back to play 25 minutes in each game against the Sabres. But this Lightning team is terrific. No question about it. They just have had the playoff lows. They've had the open window to try and win a Stanley Cup. The depth of this team is absolutely incredible. I've seen a lot of these guys come through Syracuse, of course, but when you look at this team, I am telling you, Kucherov, unbelievable. Braden Point, terrific. You take a look at Gord. You've got a bunch of Steven Stamkos. There's players all over the place. If Hedman plays, they've got depth at defense. You've got a chance here in goal, back-to-back Vezinas for Vasilevsky. This team is absolutely, positively, ridiculously talented. Tyler Johnson, they go 1, 2, 3 lines at a time. Cirelli and company. There's so many weapons for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They can get you from any particular direction. I'm going to go in optimistically here. I think the Sabres win this afternoon. I'm going to go with a 4-2 score. I think Buffalo wins today, and I think tomorrow they lose in overtime. So the 4 available points, I'm going out on a limb here and saying the Sabres are going to get 3 of them. And if they get that, that's going to be a huge moment in the season for Buffalo. Not only winning, not only beating a good team, they're going to come back here and obviously try to continue that. And, this is a great bonding experience for the team as well. I always am a big fan of teams taking trips together because you can bond together. You're on the plane together. I realize that you're together all the time. You're in the locker room. You're home ice, away ice, travel, road trips, hotels, and all that. I understand they're all together all the time. But being in a different place like Sweden, you have a little bit more of a bonding experience. You're riding buses to the arena. You're chatting with each other a little bit more, playing longer. You got longer flights, longer card games, probably longer drinking, whatever the case may be. I'm just kidding. Those guys really don't drink as much as they used to in past days. Guys now are so conditioned with nutrition and fitness and all the rest. It's amazing, the young players, how disciplined they are in the National Hockey League. But, just longer time, longer talks, longer dinners, longer this, longer that, media time to talk. It's really, really great stuff. Let's see what happens. Let's go Buffalo, Sabres, Lightning in Sweden for tonight and tomorrow night there, and of course this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon here stateside. I'm Mike Lindsley. Get to Rosie's Corner. Pizza, pasta, hot and cold subs, you name it. Wings are delicious. Get the Gold Fever. Get the Garlic Parm. Get the Mild. They're all amazing. Rosie's Corner, the official pizza shop of the ML Sports Platter, right in front of the Brewerton Bridge in Brewerton, if you're in and around central New York. 9 minutes with me, IGTV, Facebook, and YouTube. Download my podcast, the ML Sports Platter. And as I always tell you, enjoy the games.